So you have a tender rate and your love overlanding. You have plans to do it big on the trace and some super glamping. One idea, deep news and reviews, a podcast the first rate and here just for you. You don't have to think about it, join us and be about it. Something interesting we want to hear about it, come on let's talk about it. Welcome to Waypoint Overland's Random Waypoints Podcast.
Sponsored by Midland, communication for every adventure. The industry leader in radio communication technology and innovation for over 50 years. Sponsored by MyMedic. Sponsored by Tembo Tusk. Sponsored by Shower Pouch. Sponsored by DeMoss Collective, mission built and made for mobility. Sponsored by BrewTrek. Sponsored by Hard Impact Designs.
Always remember, the opinion you follow should be your own. Just consider the things stated here to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online.
Hey, what's up, Mike?
Phil, how's it going? Another week, another podcast, another location that I'm checking in from.
So where are you? People want to know.
I am on my way to Overland Expo. As you guys have listened on the podcast, know that I left Montana. I don't know, about a week and a half ago. Probably 3 miles from the Canadian border, Montana. Made my way down through the national parks in Yellowstone and Tetons and Flaming Gorge. I've had some beautiful, beautiful campsites, boondocking out in nowhere. Had an opportunity the other night, funny enough, to go to, I've been driven through, but I've never really spent any time in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. So I had the opportunity to go to dinner there at this cook your own steakhouse, which was kind of cool. But it was the first time, the reason I'm bringing this up, the first time I've ever boondocked and taken an Uber into a town from boondocking. And then took an Uber back to my truck. I've never done that. I've never even thought of the concept, to be honest with you. It was kind of funny. But anyways, I digress. I am now...
I would have never...
What's that?
Go ahead, continue.
Oh, well, no, I was just going to say I digress. I'm now east of Steamboat Springs, heading into Fort Collins, Colorado. But funny enough, I'm only probably 50 miles outside of Fort Collins. Yet I'm at 10,000 feet elevation up in the mountains, in the national forest. So it's kind of weird how you can be out in the middle of nowhere, but not that far away from where you're heading.
You're in a beautiful area, though, bro. You're in a perfect place.
It is amazing. Yeah, I'm just outside of where the burn scar is. For those of you who remember, there was the largest wildfire in Colorado history. I think it was, don't quote me on the year, I think it was 2020, burned through this area and affected Fort Collins and went all the way over to Estes Park. And, I want to say it burned 240,000 acres or something like that. So you could see it when you come down the canyon here for sure. But anyway. So that Uber was kind of funny. I never thought of the concept of taking an Uber from a boondock location. The Uber driver coming back she actually was from Argentina and had experience and spoke 3 languages and traveled. It's funny who you meet in an Uber, right? World travelers for sure. And she had traveled all around, and we got back and she's like, "Oh wow, look at your truck!" And it was kind of funny because she's got ideas of going on the road full time. So. Funny experience.
So I have a question about that, bro.
Yeah.
This is a Overland and Travel channel. And the first thing that I thought as a fellow traveler is I would be so scared to boondock my vehicle and then take a Uber into town. One, because my vehicle is by itself. I've done that before. But somebody actually knows that I'm leaving my vehicle and where I'm going. So
yeah,
just talk about that.
It's a good point you bring up, Phil, actually, because, anytime you're using anything, as you know, not to sound like conspiracy theorists here, but anytime you use an app or something like that, it's obviously geo pinpointing where you are. And by the nature of the app, you're right. It's telling them that you just went to town to go get a steak. We're going to talk about on this podcast today, Starlink. So I won't go there yet, but one of the advantages that I have is that I have Starlink on board. So no matter where I put my truck, it has internet, and that gives me the ability to have a camera system that I can look at remotely. So I could be sitting at the restaurant in downtown Steamboat Springs, and I can still be monitoring my truck. I can look on my phone and I could see the camera. So I could see what's going on back at my rig. And that is all courtesy of modern day technology and Starlink. So to some extent, yes, people might know about my trucks by myself, but I'm still looking at it.
Okay. I accept that. I wasn't saying it was like a dumb thing to do. I just, it was a good opportunity to discuss security, because that has come up quite a few times with me where I literally chose not to go somewhere because I was not going to leave my vehicle.
Yep. And you're right. That's the plus and minus, I guess, right, of modern day technology. It's kind of funny that you can take an Uber and you can go somewhere. And in my case, even more so, because I ride, as you know, with a motorbike on board. So I definitely have the ability to leave my truck a lot. And that's part of travel. That's a reality for, it's a good, we probably should have a class at Overland Expo about this. Actually, we're going to be talking about that on today's podcast as well. But it brings up, anybody like me that travels with a large overland rig oftentimes has another mean of transport. So, and by definition, that means that all of us are leaving our trucks everywhere. So it's definitely a different mindset.
That's better though. That's better though, because you're leaving, you haven't sent out a message for somebody to come pick you up and take you away.
That's true.
That was the point that I was making.
That is true. Wow. I mean, one would like to hope and believe that the Uber app is somewhat secure and that there's not a bunch of people realizing that you just took Uber. So, I guess we don't know that. Hey, didn't we just hear that the entire U.S. government or something was hacked and everybody's social security number was let go? I mean, are you kidding me?
So, bro, I'm not going to get into the details because this is a litigious country. And if I say too much, I could put myself at risk. But what I can say is, your social security number is all over the place already and has been all over the place for like the last at least 15 years. Yeah,
that's true.
So don't panic so much. You should have a general panic because it's already been out there.
Right.
But it don't make that much of a difference. I could get your social security number right now during the podcast if I want to.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it brings up another. I know we're bouncing around on tangents here, but it brings up another thing because people have asked me before. I'll post pictures online of my truck or something, and you can see a license plate or whatever. Just so you guys out there know, because I know some of you shadow out license plates and blur them out and all this shit. You're wasting your time. I mean, you're totally wasting your time on this. For one, you can't really glean a whole lot of information from a license plate number that's going to be that isn't easily gotten any other way anyways. So, I mean, I see people doing it all the time online. I shake my head every time I see it. I mean, if you like blurring things out, I guess have fun with that, but I don't have time for doing that. So,
and I have another sad reality for those who do that. I got an app on my phone right now and it'll de-blur anything that you put up there.
Exactly.
So, and there are other people that are more savvy than me that they don't need an app, but they can go right into Photoshop and de-blur it.
Yeah.
So you're wasting your time.
Yeah, you're wasting your time. And by the way, if you have somebody else's license plate number, what are you going to gain? Like, it's not like it's connected to your social security number, like we just talked about, or it's connected to your bank account or any other stuff. It's irrelevant information, really.
Well, people piece it together. You only need a handful of pieces of information from you.
Yeah.
I can get 2 of those 3 from your driver's license.
Yeah.
So I can obtain everything else about you.
You could get that if you go to my website, DriveTheGlobe.com. You could pretty much find everything out about me. I live in the public world. I'm not. I guess I may be a conspiracy theorist in some things, but I am not worried at all about people finding out shit about me.
Well, that's the
have
key.
Fun with it.
We live in a world now where pretty much you can't get away with crime. And then you're probably saying to yourself, well, people get away with crimes all the time. They're too busy to apply the technology to little small crimes. But they can pretty much catch every person at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's right.
Just be a good person.
Yeah, exactly. If you're up to no good, if they want to catch you, they will.
Bro, I have been like at Overland Expo, and what is the typical thing while you're talking to somebody? Hi, I'm Phil. Hi, I'm John. What's your Instagram? And people will like literally scroll through, Google your name, everything right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a waste of time lying.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you. So anyways, that kind of, let me mention before we get going any further on this podcast, thanks. I got so much feedback and so many people messaging me and talking about our prior podcast that came out last week about the people that inspired Phil and I to travel and to do the adventures that we do today. So thanks for all the feedback, man. That was, maybe that may be one of our most listened to podcasts. I don't know, but a lot of people sent me messages about that.
It's definitely up there. I got a lot of reactions to it too. I was even thinking of maybe one day us doing a podcast. I'm still getting responses, so I don't want to do it right away. And adding those all up and then doing a show of what other people suggested, because I got suggestions of other people who were inspired. So I would like to mention some of those names because people had good names that I didn't think of or I thought of and didn't realize that much about them. So that needs to be revisited with what the viewers have to say.
I agree. And you know, it's certainly going forward a good question probably to ask some of the guests that we have on our show here too, because it's always interesting to know what kind of motivates somebody, particularly in this overlanding field.
Yeah, we've asked about inspiration, but we've quantified it as people today, people on social media. So we need to open it up to like how we did it, to just in general, who inspires you.
Yep. So let's talk about what are we going to talk about today, Phil?
Well, what we were talking about offline, I think is interesting. I think I saved getting your opinion for the podcast. I would like to know your opinion about what we were discussing about Starlink. SpaceX's Starlink internet service has gathered over 150,000 customers in Mexico since it entered the market, and it is outpacing local competitors. According to the Federal Telecommunications Institute, Starlink's market share is currently 0.32% in Mexico. Now, that may sound like a sliver in the market. However, Starlink is outpacing the other local internet providers in Mexico. That's HughesNet, GlobalSat, and Star Group. So basically what they're saying is Starlink is the number one choice right now in Mexico over landline and established internet providers.
Yeah, I mean, so I can tell you from spending half my years down in Mexico that, you know, just like any other country, particularly in developing countries that don't want to invest in infrastructure for landlines and running cable and whatnot, there's a lot of satellite presence. And so let's talk about that for a second, because I see what you said, Telsat and GlobalSat and Hughes Network and all these different things. You see these dishes when you drive around. big difference that people have to understand. Damn, I wish I had my buddy Bert on the podcast here right now. He could explain the satellite things for us because he's an expert in that. But I'll give you my non-expert thing. Starlink is in low orbit, right? So the one problem that you got with, like, I have a couple friends that have HughesNet. It's not nearly as good. It's just the latency, because it's the satellites are farther away and you got to send the information up and down, right? The Starlink is in low orbit. So I think people are realizing that it's just simply better. I mean, that's one main reason I think that they're probably doing it. I remember last winter I was riding my bicycle on the Baja Divide, and Eric and I were riding through, East Nowhereville, and you'll occasionally see now, and I didn't notice this the year before, but you'll occasionally see a rancher like way off grid that has Starlink, and you're like, wow, here's some Mexican rancher out in the middle of nowhere with, he doesn't, you got to remember that half these people don't have power. They don't have, water. They don't have all sorts of different stuff, but the guy's got Starlink. So it's popping up out there. And, you guys have heard me talk about it. Like, first of all, Phil and I, you and I wouldn't be having this conversation right now if it wasn't for Starlink, because here I am in the middle of nowhere. On Starlink at a high-speed internet everywhere I go. And at this point, I'm going to be totally honest with you. And this probably sounds bougie and a little bit, I don't know what, so I'll get criticism for this, but
Bougie Mike.
Here we go. I generally only camp. Let me give you the scenario yesterday when we moved into camp here. I'm on the Laramie River Gorge, right? So I'm actually camped along the river that runs I'm about 20 miles from the Wyoming border, and it runs up and, eventually comes out in Laramie, Wyoming, obviously. But when we rolled in here looking for a boondocking campsite here in the National Forest, I'm not going to lie and tell you that probably the first consideration of what campsite I was picking was my shot at the sky. And admittedly, that's twofold. One is so I have Starlink, and two is, obviously I'm running all the Starlink and everything is being powered by electricity that I'm generating from solar. So I have generally taken a mode now where I do not camp in locations that I don't have a shot of the sky. So I'm not camping in densely forested areas. Now I'm looking out the window. There's forest all around me, but I've picked a site that's cleared enough that I've got a good shot at the sky. So I don't necessarily have to camp in the middle of a field, but that's a consideration. So, if you tell me, hey, Mike, here's a great campsite, and I went riding on my motorbike yesterday, and we found a whole mess of great campsites around here. But some of them, they're beautiful along the stream, and you listen to the water, and there's trees all around you. I'm not camping there. I'm telling you right now, I'm not camping there. So,
I get it.
Yeah, because otherwise, you and I couldn't do the podcast right now if I camped in that site.
Another interesting thing about this is the article lists the costs for Starlink, and it is significantly higher than the other choices.
Yes.
So that makes the point even more so that people are choosing the most expensive choice over all the rest.
Yeah.
So our predictions that we've made over a year ago that Starlink might end up being the only form of communication, it being your phone, your laptop or whatever. Starlink, when they come out with a satellite phone, these companies are null and void after that.
Oh yeah, they're in big trouble.
HughesNet, GlobalSat, Star, they have satellite phones. That's pretty much their bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
They're over. It's done. If I can go on internet and then I can pick up a phone and it's all working seamlessly together, Starlink is going to crush everybody. I believe that somewhere down the line, even other phones and other phone companies are going to be running off of Starlink.
Yeah, I would agree with that at this point. I mean, unless something changes. I mean, look, they just came out with a new dish, a new Starlink dish, the small one that is conceivably, I think we might even talk about this on one of the podcasts. It's small enough where I could conceivably take it on one of my bike packing trips. And be able to, because it's 12 volt, you could run it off, a little battery brick or whatever. So you could have Starlink almost without the vehicle now. It's not quite phone sized yet, but it's getting there. And to think that, in another year or two, because look, Gen 3 Starlink came out, the high speed Starlink came out, now this little Starlink. So the technology is moving pretty quickly. So I would imagine in another year or two, you're going to have Starlink the size of, my iPhone here.
Well, the one that you mentioned is still a great size. It's small enough that, you'd more than likely be using it with your laptop, right?
Correct.
It's small enough to fit in a laptop bag.
That's right. Yeah.
So,
so that changes. And by the way, for you overlanders out there, we've done some tests. I might do a video on this, but I've been talking to some people that have the new mini one, and so far it doesn't perform any less than the regular full size one. So you would think that it has obviously a smaller array, right? Because there's a bigger array, the better in theory it should be. But maybe it's because it's low orbit or the way that Starlink works. I don't know, but I'll tell you. I think it's a good option for somebody like you, Phil. Like say you're driving around in a Jeep and you don't have a lot of space. You don't have as much space as something like my truck. The mini one is fine.
I agree. But if the performance is identical or very similar, then that signals to me the end of the bigger one.
Yes. Eventually,
the one that you're talking about now sounds like that's going to end up being the big one.
I would agree. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't think that. Like, look, I have on my truck, I still have the Generation 2 one, which is the one that moves, like, right. So it once you plug it in and when you get to a new location, it searches for the satellite. The Gen 3 one doesn't even do that anymore. They realize that doesn't make any sense. We don't even need to put a motor in it. We don't need to do any of that. So some of these things are going away slowly. And like you said, now you got a little one. Now you don't need a motor. You don't need the size. You don't need a big mount on the roof of your tree. You don't need any of this stuff. So
at the rate that they're going, this is my prediction. There's going to, those dishes are going to go away, and it's going to be some kind of little thing like this, like a little antenna that you're going to, I believe that's where it's going to end.
Yeah. And now remember, when we make predictions here on this podcast, we're pretty accurate, because the last big prediction we made was Joe Biden dropping out of the race. And guess what happened? Joe Biden dropped out of the race. And Phil and I aren't surprised. What's our big prediction of coming out of the Democratic convention here? Starts today.
Bro, it's hard for me to go in and out with that conversation, but I'm going to try. I don't have an answer for that. Obviously, Ms. Harris is going to be the nominee.
Sure.
So there's no question there. But it bothers me how public the government has become about basically disclosing to you that your vote really don't mean nothing.
That's interesting, yeah.
When you really get down to it, okay, you'd be like, what do you mean? In November, I'm going to vote. Yeah, but you're going to vote for people that you didn't choose, or at least one person that you didn't choose.
Okay, just let me just say it then. I mean, what you're saying here, Phil, is that Harris is in place basically because they pulled a coup. I mean, that's the reality.
I don't want, you know why I don't want to say a coup? Because the coup means that Biden was running for president and then they just swept in and took it from him. I believe that was the plan all the time. They didn't think that Kamala Harris could make it through the debates and be the nominee. So they kept her safe. They had him win the nomination and then switched. I believe that was the plan all the time.
That's the conspiracy approach, which, by the way, it's not a wild.
I don't think it's wild at all.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. It's not.
Facts,
but at bare minimum, to wrap up what you were saying is the bottom line is the people that chose Harris are not us.
Right. And I need people to this isn't the first time. That's how Hillary Clinton made it. The old guy from Vermont, I can't think of his name right now.
Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders.
He was on his way. And they basically just decided, no, we don't like you.
Yeah. You're right.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, because obviously government is controlled by, and you're right. It's become like they don't even hide it anymore. The electoral college system obviously is one that is got lots of flaws in it, anyways. Which that we've all known that system exists, but now it's come to the forefront really that it's money and donors and look, I was reading the news last week, all about Nancy Pelosi, who is one of the most powerful people and, one of the most controlling people in the Democratic Party. She sort of pushed Biden out. Well, hold on. Last time I checked, she's a senator, which makes her no more powerful than Bernie Sanders or, XYZ or anybody else that's in the Senate, right? But suddenly there's a ranking system. Now, clearly, I understand it doesn't work that way. She's more powerful because she's been around longer. She's got more money. She's got more back. There's lots of reasons. But that just goes to show you this is controlled by power and money.
And I need you to realize something about Kamala, Mike. She has never been elected to office. Now, I know you're probably ready to jump in and say, whoa, 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 whoa. She was voted to be
vice president.
No.
Oh.
When she was in California, they voted her into those positions.
Yeah.
So yes, people actually had to vote for her to be voted in. But if you understand anything about local politics, especially big cities, judges, the title that she had, I can't think
Attorney General.
Yeah, Attorney General, stuff like that. People usually just go all the way down. If they're Democrat, they just check all the other boxes.
Yeah.
So if it's a Democratic city, those particular titles, those people didn't really earn them so much as they just fell under the umbrella of that party and got voted in. It's not like anybody really actually was like, oh, she's great. I've got to have her in office. It was Democrat. I'm going all the way down with Democrat. That's how she got in.
Yep.
And then you were going to say vice president. Nobody's voting for the vice president.
This is true.
I would challenge somebody I know most people could give me 20 back-to-back presidents, but give me 20 back-to-back vice presidents.
No. I hate to say it out loud here, but I bet you most people are going to be hard pressed to give you 2 vice presidents, and a lot of times, even I think people would be hard pressed to tell you who the vice president of the country, even when they are the vice president of the country. So, hey, anyways, so it's back to Starlink. It gives us the ability to talk politics here on the podcast. Yeah, no, I mean, it's hey, let's stay on politics. Starlink has become, which is complete bullshit. Okay, I'm going to just put it out there, has become somewhat political. Now you got people that are against Starlink because it's owned by Elon Musk and they don't like Elon Musk. Like, by the way, if you liked Elon Musk at any point, he's not a normal guy, right? So, like, if you think all of a sudden you don't like him because he's taken a political side or whatever, you're like clueless out there. You're just brain dead because the guy's always been weird. He's always taken weird stances. So if you just come into this recognition, all of a sudden you don't like him, you're weird.
All right, I'm going to say something that's going to get us canceled, but I'm about to say it.
Good.
Right. Modern day American society is immature.
That's true.
There used to be a time where I could look at you and say, you know what? When we discuss our ideals, our ethics, our morals, mine don't align with you. And I could separate that from, You're a great businessman. Now, people have to like you. CEOs have to be on Twitter and YouTube, not just Elon Musk. You have to be like a social butterfly as a CEO more so than a smart man anymore. The way we judge people is very immature. It's like a kid. Well, I don't like him. We pick our presidents that way. I like him. He's not qualified or she's not qualified, but I like her. She looks like me. We went to school together. This might be our only chance. That's very immature thinking.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, for sure. So, where he's concerned is, this is a guy that, maybe he didn't sit in a lab and create Starlink, but, he's the guy. Look, these things wouldn't exist without him. He's like a modern day mover and shaker, equivalent of like we talked about on another podcast of the guys in the past, like the Rockefellers and all these wealthy, the railroad barons and all these guys. They moved progress, right? And Starlink and Tesla and the boring machine and all this other stuff that Musk is behind. I mean, he's basically, I don't know how you rain on some guy's parade that he's basically self-made, right? I mean, any way you look at it.
Well, okay, if we get into the details, bro, I disagree.
How?
We've discussed it. He's been given the golden ticket. If not everybody has the chance to, the ideas that he has have been out there before you even knew who he was. What made Elon Musk is the handshake deal with the government. Without that, there's no Elon Musk. We wouldn't be talking about him.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, he's largely funded by the U.S. government. We've talked about that on other podcasts. It's just true to that. But the guy
I believe
did it.
He's highly intelligent, but I guarantee you I could talk to him about his Starlink and I'll know things he don't know. He's the CEO. He didn't make it.
You're correct. That's like, no, I never said he made it.
Like Jobs gets this credit for the smartest decisions he needed to make, he didn't make. Because he would still be here if he had made the right decisions. So, my point is, I give him a lot of credit, but it kind of I kind of cringe when people just like he just totally. No, he had a red carpet the whole way. His life was totally different than yours. His opportunities were totally different than yours.
I could argue with that.
Opportunities on a whole nother level. If you had just one of his opportunities, you would be somewhere else.
Yeah, the opportunities, but people also argue that he's not self-made because he started out wealthy, blah 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 blah. He did not start out wealthy comparatively to where he's at today. So that's like that's the same thing as saying somebody's successful that was homeless and had $3 to their name and now they're a millionaire. They're self-made. Well, that's true. Same thing if you start with $1 million and you end up with 500 billion.
Well, I look at it differently. Let's say we're in a 100-yard race and you got a 10-yard advantage. Using the way you're saying it, well, I had to run the other 90 yards to win the race.
Yeah.
That's basically what you're saying. I still had to run 90 yards and not let you guys catch up.
Yeah, I just think that like we don't need to talk about him. That he has made it.
I like Elon Musk, bro, but I just don't like.
For me, it's not about whether I like him or not. Like I love the guy because I'm using his Starlink. It's a personal thing, right? Like and I don't give a shit if he supports. Like he could be a guy that supports my biggest, most hated enemy in the planet. I'm still gonna like the guy because he gave me Starlink. That's just me.
And let me be clear, bro. Some people would say there's a perspective thing on every level. I'm nowhere near no Elon Musk in any kind of way, in any kind of category. But there are people who would maybe look at me and say, you're where you're at because you grew up in a certain kind of family. You were taught certain things that I
Yeah.
wasn't taught or whatever. So there's always that dynamic. And there are people who had the same chances and advantages as me, and they didn't get as far as me, and
Yep.
or some
Yep.
that have went far beyond me. So it still comes down to what you do with what you have. But
Yes.
I just hate when people say about a rich dude, he pulled himself from the bootstraps, or he got it from the dirt, or
Oh,
any
I
of
would
those
agree.
type
In
of
his
things.
case, that's definitely not the case. There's no question. Yeah. Yeah. He wasn't, he wasn't homeless in San Francisco at any point in his life.
Now, people, if you're thinking I'm ragging on Elon Musk, then you need to watch last week's
That's right.
when I was glowingly talking about how I thought it was awesome that Trump and him were doing an interview, and that I thought they were titans of the
Yep.
world, and I was just laying it on thick about them.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
can love you, but totally analyze you accurately and not overblow it. All right, Mike. We had some technical difficulty, and it's all over your shirt, Mike. What happened?
That's right. I had to take a break for 1 minute to go close some windows. It just started to pour. I'm a desert guy. I'm not used to this rain thing all the time here up in the mountains. Whew.
Yeah, we just had 3 days of rain, and it's cloudy outside.
Oh, all
But
right.
it's hot.
Well, yeah, it's probably hot down in the Denver area, I would imagine, but not up here. We're in the low 60s.
So Mike,
yeah,
I want to hit you with something.
Yes.
I literally thought about this right before we came on to do the podcast. In a few months, we will be 25 years into the 21st century. In just a few months. It
Crazy.
seems like 1999, me at a party partying for the year 2000 was just yesterday, but it was 25 years ago. And
It's insane.
It's the world has, in my opinion, changed so significantly in the last 25 years, and it's done it at a rate unequal to any other time in American history. And I mean it from a technical standpoint, industrial standpoint, social standpoint, however you want to look at it. In the last 25 years, things have changed significantly, especially with inventions. We talked about one of them last week, which was Google and all of their stuff, but it's a bunch of things. What do you think about
so think
that?
about it. 1/4 of the way through the 21st century. So we're 25% through it already. And I agree with you how much has changed in those 25 years. So we can only imagine how much it's going to change in the second 25 years. So the next 25 years from now until 2050. It's insane.
Yeah. I make a lot of predictions that are accurate. And the reason why they're accurate is because I really don't make a prediction. I literally just look at history, because history repeats itself. And I just spit out what's been going on since the beginning of time. So,
yeah.
And I believe that history still is in that, that circle. It keeps revolving around, but it's spinning now.
Mm-hmm.
It's spinning.
Yeah, it's just moving faster, right? Technology is moving faster. What we do moves faster. How we communicate moves faster. It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, I think I said that before we got on air here, I said, the end of overlanding is coming. And that might sound controversial, but, the way things are. So I noticed this, I was I'll give you a quick 1 minute. I was out on my motorbike yesterday, and, we talk about trail closures and all this stuff all the time, kind of like whatever. I'm going to tell you that I can see a day in the future where we're not doing this truck moto thing anymore. It's not an activity. It's just it's a retired thing. There won't be travelers the way we do it today. I just think that that's coming to an end. I think the access to places, the overpopulation of national parks, all this is going to come to a head at some point in the future. And we're not going to be talking about overlanding in a big rig like I'm traveling around or in a Jeep or something like that. The technology will change. You'll probably go, to be honest, you'll probably be overlanding in your head. You'll probably be putting on a virtual reality thing on your head because you're not going to be going out to the national forest anymore. They're just not going to be accessible.
I don't disagree with that at all. Didn't think about it, but I don't disagree with that at all. I'm sure that you read the same kind of articles I read. There's currently a lot of countries or little cities and small countries where they are actually coming up with tourism rules. There are actually places that are being visited where the government is making laws about increasing prices for people who visit and restricting how many tourists can come to towns. We've talked about the national parks and the reservation system. So they're basically telling you, don't come here. And if you do come here, we're going to charge you extra and we're going to restrict you. So it's starting already.
Well, look, I'm in Colorado. I'm going to rain on Colorado's parade once again because I always get flack that people say I hate Colorado, but there's things about it, Colorado I definitely hate. It's like an anti-state. It wants to be California. So Colorado is one of the. See, shit, we're in trouble again. Did I just say that out loud?
I knew where you was headed.
Well, no. Colorado is one of the few states, maybe it's the only state, I'm not positive of this, but it's one of the few states in the United States that charges for public land access. Do any of you guys know that? So in Colorado, when you go to a Colorado, and I'm not talking about going to a campground at Colorado, a Colorado campground, but when you access public Colorado land, Colorado State Forest, you got to pay $10. You have to pay a fee to access public land. That's not true in most states. I'm not even sure it's true in any other state. But where was I going? To your point, it's like, they're charging. Well, so what if they raise that from $10 to $100 or $1,000? So
and that's not new for Colorado. Colorado has been doing this for a long time.
That's right.
It's funny, the stickers on the back of my truck, people always are like, what are those Colorado stickers for? Most people go visit Colorado, do trails and camping and don't even realize they're breaking the law.
That's right.
There's actually two little permits that you're supposed to buy to do the trails and to be in those mountains that you love so much. Most people don't ever get them in.
You're not. My point is, they're not going to catch you unless you stay at a quote designated boondock site, and they come around sometimes.
Well, that's where I'm headed. I just read that like places like Silverton, Ouray, and all of that area, they're going to start policing more. They'll be like at the beginning of Black Bear Pass. They'll be right there. You can't start it unless you got a pass. Yeah. So that's coming.
Oh yeah, and I the reason I'm throwing this out on the podcast because I don't think most people know this. I really don't think people know it, and I don't think people realize there's a huge difference between, we did our podcast a couple weeks back about, our favorite states to travel in and whatever. And, I got a lot of flack about, I didn't put Colorado on it because I think Colorado's a terrible state.
People were very defensive about Colorado more than any other state.
It's one of the worst states to travel in. If you go by ability to go boondocking, how friendly they are to nomads. And now we're talking about this fee. I really, I got my panties in a bunch about the $10 fee, just because I think it's bullcrap. So, and it's not the case in most other states. So, so these are the reasons. So I want to put that out there. Like, I don't think a lot of people know that about here. I got all irritated coming in yesterday or the day before when we came in, because there's a big gravel cycling race. And for those of you who know, I'm big into cycling. There's a gravel cycling race that was going on with professionals going on in Steamboat Springs. And all the way in, I see signs that say ban gravel bike racing, ban gravel. Talk about a nanny state. And so this is the bullshit. I see that and I go, oh, damn it. I know it. Here I am. I'm in Colorado. Like, how did I know? I could have closed my eyes. I could have told you I was in Colorado. So, you know, if you guys are listening, or any of you out there that are from Colorado or live in Colorado, you know, just maybe you can help change it, and just take my advice. Don't become California.
Yeah, a majority of people who are listening are overlanders. They do trails, they do off-road and stuff like that. And the typical thing is, when you go off-road and you do trails, in general, the majority of the time, you go 20, 30 minutes, an hour, maybe the whole trip, where you don't see people. You can't do that on any trail in Colorado.
No,
Every trail in Colorado is like a highway.
and let's be fair. I mean, one of the reasons that, you know, I'll give you the nice side. One of the reasons that Colorado has put some of these restrictions in and stuff is to control that, because there is a significant amount of that quote kind of tourism here in the state. You know, maybe some of that is more relegated to those towns that you just mentioned that are on the western slope. You know, here I am technically kind of towards the eastern slope in the northeast of the Rocky Mountains. I can say northeast of Colorado. It's not the northeast of Colorado. Nobody wants to go to the northeast of Colorado. I'm in the central north part of Colorado, which I consider to be the far east of Colorado, because God forbid you get into the other part. But no, in seriousness, here we're the only people camped here. Up and down, there's tons of campsites here on where I'm, and they're all vacant. So I'm a little surprised about that. So it's just not as known of an area, I think. But definitely, if you're in Silverton, or you're, you know, over there by Engineers Pass or Black Bear, or oh my Lord, I mean, it could be a highway. It's like watching the videos of people hiking Mount Everest. You know, you see like a line of traffic going up the side of the mountain. It looks like that, right?
Yeah. This kind of segues to the conversation you were having about overlanding being dead and being virtual or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I can see, like, in less than in a decade, that being necessary. A person who wants to go to Colorado and have that experience that they've been told about that you can't have anymore in Colorado, well, you go on your virtual, and the roads in Ouray are dirt again. There's not many people anymore. There's not that many people on the trail. So that's going to also push toward what you were saying, in my opinion.
I'd argue
I think you thought you were going to get some pushback. I think you thought I was going to give you some pushback on that, but I'm totally in agreement with you on it.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you haven't done that stuff already, you're already too late. I mean, that's just it's like you and I talked about Moab. You know, both of us went to Moab, I don't know, 25 years ago or whatever. It's not even the same. You know, it's a totally different place now.
And we're not saying don't go to these places.
No.
If you've never been, go. It's just not going to be that romanticized picture that you have in your mind from days past.
That's right. Yeah, I saw an article this morning that Ethiopia, funny enough, no, was it Ethiopia? Yeah, it was Ethiopia, banned the import of all gas-powered vehicles. And they're trying to switch over the entire. This is Ethiopia, by the way. This is Africa, okay? And it's been largely becoming successful. So let's take it from that standpoint. You know, we're heading to. We're going to talk about that in a second. We're heading to Overland Expo. We're going to hang out with the Jeep crowd and the Toyota 4Runner crowd and the whatever. You know, all of these things. These, we'll call them tools of our tools of the trade of what we're doing today, overlanding, living full time, whatever we're doing. Eventually, are going to go away. Right. So not only is the trails going to go away, or the places to go away, the vehicle that you're using is going to go away too. None of those things are going to exist eventually if the whole world goes to, and I'm saying electric. We've talked on the podcast before. I don't think that's ultimately going to work. But if it's not electric, it's something else. But my point is that I think the vehicles involved in our activity are not going to even exist either.
Well, we need to, as Americans, we need to follow Canada's lead on this. I don't know if you're aware of this. but a majority of the rural towns in Canada, across all the provinces, are literally going against the government about electric vehicles, because I think they are supposed to go totally electric 2030 or 2035, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's 2035.
And these remote places are not set up for that, and the vehicles definitely, I mean, these remote places get cold. So an electric vehicle is not what you want. But the point I'm getting to is they are making legal not excuses, but they're allowing them to not have to follow those laws.
Yeah.
And it's because it's such a significant amount of people going against the government.
Yeah.
If it's that many of us here who prefer combustion engines versus the electric, we need to speak out more against it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I hear people in small little conversations, but I don't see a big fight against electric vehicles. A lot of that is because most people don't even understand that there's a good argument for gas engines.
Right.
So they don't know how to argue it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'm not suggesting that we couldn't morph the entire overland industry into an electric vehicle, because that could happen. But my point is, this isn't really about electric or not. It's really about, I just think times are going to change. You talked about how things have changed in 25 years. Look, 25 years ago, we weren't walking around with cell phones. We weren't on the internet. We weren't doing Instagram. We weren't doing any of those things. And I think 25 years from now, all I'm saying is I don't think we're going to be overlanding either. Except in your head.
How many years did you say?
25.
I think it'll be a lot shorter than 25 years.
Could be.
I think it'll be a lot shorter, because we're thinking, like, that's why I made that point earlier. We're thinking on our old timetable.
Mm-hmm.
Things just go fast. There'll be some incident, and people use that incident to fire up people.
Yep. So we should roll into one of the other topics we wanted to talk about today, while we still have it, would be Overland Expo, since that's not going to exist in 25 years. Let's talk about this week. And it does exist, because that's where we're heading.
I just realized, I don't see a need for them down the road. There will not be enough people.
Well, no, but I mean, Overland Expo probably will still happen. It'll like I said, it'll be on a headset, and we'll all attend virtually.
So, are you attending Overland Expo, Mike?
Yes, I'm actually. Phil, this is my first time I'm going to ever attend the Overland Expo Mountain West. I've never been to this particular event. Having done almost all of the other ones, quite frankly, never been there. So this is the first for me. Yeah, like I said, I'm only about 70 miles away from Loveland, Colorado right now.
So for those who would be interested in attending, who haven't already bought a ticket, or people who live in Colorado who would like to just stop in for a day, Overland Expo Mountain West is August 23rd through 25th. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it's at the ranch in Loveland, Colorado, USA.
And if you want 10% off your ticket price, use code DriveTheGlobe. You
guys hear that? I'll make sure to put it down in the comments. I mean, in the description. So what is that again for 10%?
10% off DriveTheGlobe. Just put that in the word asks you, DriveTheGlobe. I think that, I don't know if it matters, but the D, the T, and the G should be capitalized, I guess, but maybe it doesn't matter which way you put it in, but you get 10% off because, hey, at the end of the day, the tickets to Expo are not super cheap. We've talked about this before on the podcast. That's not to say that it's not worth going. It's just that it's not that cheap, but it's definitely worth the experience.
We got to come up with different words, because when you say cheap and expensive, all they think about is the dollar amount.
Mm-hmm.
And there's more to being cheap. Like there are things that are $5,000 that I consider cheap. And then there's some things that are $20 that I think are just way too expensive, like McDonald's.
Yeah, like McDonald's. Yep.
And so they are, it costs to go to Overland Expo. But if you make use of everything that's there, it's actually a great deal. I would venture to say
the value is good.
Yeah, because there are little outfits all across America that are teaching some of these things. And they charge like $200-$300 for a winching course.
Yep. That's right. So, Expo combines those kinds of classes. They combine that with, a social event with lots of vendors to see, lots of products to look at, stories from different travelers from around the world. There's going to be another Women That Wander series for the women that are listening out there. I'm going to be located in the creator area. I've got a number of classes I'm teaching. I think there's 6 or 7 of them. Come by and say hi to me. Oh, hey, you're going to like this one. This is my favorite one. I won't tell you all the classes I'm teaching, but I had to laugh when I got this one on my schedule. It's the experts panel. Okay, so I am leading the experts panel on traveling with pets. When I heard that, I just started laughing because I do travel with a pet. It's a turtle though, so people are mostly thinking furry friends. So I'm hosting the traveling with pets thing. So that's going to be funny. No, I'm doing a solo traveling. I'm going to be doing a series on my come talk about my rig, my new expedition rig, which is going to be the first time it's ever been there in Colorado. I'm hosting Baja full-time on the road as an overlander, and I'm going to be on the with a bunch of other really talented people on the panel talking about overlanding as a content creator. So a lot going on, and Phil and I will be wandering around as we always do, saying hi to everybody, eating food, probably going to food trucks, right? I mean, we do a lot of we'll be doing a lot, right?
I just want to make the point because I've had several people after the fact say, hey, I saw you and Mike at Overland, blah, 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 or whatever event. But you guys were walking around with that camera and microphone. So I just left you guys alone, or you were talking to somebody or whatever. I saw you at happy hour. You get it.
Yep.
We want y'all to come say hi. Say hi.
Yeah.
Don't tell me after the fact on Instagram.
No, come on. Come say hi. Be on the podcast with us.
Right. We are not going to freak out if you come and say hi.
Nope.
That's my only reason for being there.
That's right. Got some alums, podcast alums come. In fact, Candy, those Chick Stewart too. She's inbound with her expedition rig right now. Not right now, literally, but she's supposed to join me here at my boondock camp today. So she's going to be there. So there's going to be a good group of people as always, and I'm really kind of looking forward to a new location here in Colorado for me.
I'm looking forward to it, bro. I'm going to be leaving today.
Ooh. So Phil, how many for the? I don't know if everybody knows this, and I just bringing it up because it just fascinates me. Phil and I travel, and we've traveled together actually down the East Coast and everything. But Phil and I travel very differently. In right? I just laugh about this because, like, he says he's going to travel. So here I am. I'm parked literally 70 miles from the venue, and we're recording this on what day is today? Monday. So the event starts on Friday, to be honest. But we have to be in there for Thursday. And I'm 70 miles away on Monday. Phil is in Washington State right now, which to me seems like another planet. And it took me a week and a half to get here from Montana to where I am now. And it's going to take me another couple of days to get to the Front Range and Overland Expo. So in theory, I gave myself 2 weeks. When are you going to be here, Phil? And what's your route?
I'm thinking I'll get there by Thursday. What you're thinking, I'm not going to do this time. I am going to break it up in a few days.
Okay,
but
good.
Yeah. And you're confusing. Normally, I take a long time to get to the events, but this year, because of what's going on with me physically, I've just been, driving in a nice, comfortable car and driving
just busting
for hours.
Your ass, by the way. I know you.
Oh
never,
no, I don't care.
I know you never take the highway, and I know you're going to take some scenic way to get here for sure. Which I'm assuming you're going to do.
Oh yeah, it's going to take me about 30 hours to get there driving time. And it's not because it takes 30 hours to get there. I think it's like 16 hours.
Yeah, I don't
to drive there. But I suggest that to everybody. I'm like, leave a day early, go on your GPS and click on avoid highways and follow that route. Follow that route. Google will take you some crazy places, but you'll be happy about it later.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of what I did. Got the opportunity to go through Yellowstone and go through Flaming Gorge and go through the Tetons and come down through all through Montana, come around Flathead Lake. I mean, so all these things. Not that I haven't done all of those before, because I have, which is one of the reasons why I choose the routes that I do sometimes, is because I know they're good, because I've done them before. Now, this one I'm on right this second, coming down Route 14, I've never done. So this is a new one for me right here in Colorado. And I've been, around quite a bit of Colorado, but I've never taken this route. It's unbelievable scenery. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful area here.
And say the route again for people.
Well, I came through from the corner of basically Utah, Wyoming, and Colorado. So by Dinosaur, near Dinosaur, Flaming Gorge, coming out of Wyoming, it actually cuts the corner of Utah, which, by the way, if you've never been in that part of Utah, it's not anything like you think of Utah. And I love Utah, but man, you'd swear you're in Montana or Wyoming or somewhere else. Amazing part of Utah. And then you come down the really steep and through Dinosaur. And then I followed basically Route 40 through Steamboat Springs, and then cut off of that. So 40 would actually goes all the way to, the Front Range, but I cut off of that and then went 14, which weaves, it's windy switchbacky road, comes down, which I believe is the locals call it the Pooter. And I think it's supposed to be pronounced Poudre, right?
I don't know.
They call it the Pooter. I've
always heard the pejorative, so I don't know what the real name.
Yeah, I don't know either. I know, because I sit at a little roadside refreshment place yesterday on the motorbike. So we're in the Pooter. I'll go, okay, the Pooter. And you look at it, it's not even spelled that way. So I don't know where they get that from, but.
So 14.
So basically, I'm going to end up in Fort Collins. It's going to come out through the mountains down into Fort Collins.
So 14, for people who are paying attention to what we're talking about, is probably the most northerly highway. That's not even really a highway. What would you call that?
Yeah, it's a country road.
It's the most northerly road in Colorado that goes west to east, east to west. And it's a beautiful drive. So write that down.
Yeah. So it is. Yeah, I think it is the most northern, because any farther north, there might be one. See, because that's where the mountain ranges are going down.
There's roads north of it, but I'm talking about a continual road that you can take.
Yeah, I think it's the farthest one north. And I'm on the road that comes off. So I'm camped basically off of a road that comes off of 14 that goes all the way to Laramie, Wyoming. So I'm camped along what they call the Laramie River Gorge. The river is like right off my truck here. And that goes all the way up into, like I said, 20 miles, I think, south of the border of Wyoming. And then you get up to Laramie, Wyoming. So yeah, it's an amazing area.
It's going to be a shock to the system once you hit Fort Collins. You're going to be like, wow, I was in all of this forest and everything, and then bam, it's like a city.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and you, those that have listened to our podcast know that I'm not the most gigantic fan of, the whole. I find that basically all the way from Fort Collins to Colorado Springs is a city, right? Like the whole Front Range is one big Denver. Not to say that there aren't nice places and there's whatever, but and if you're into beer, there's lots of good breweries and there's a lot of good stuff, but it's a little bit more densely populated than places that I like to travel for sure. Also, while we're mentioning classes, Overland Expo, Michael Davis is on my class. I don't know if any of you guys out there know. I know he listens to our podcast. He's on a class with me doing Baja. So, shout out to Michael. I'll see you in a couple days, or I guess by the time you're listening to this.
Mike, I know who Mike Davis is, but you got to tell people who he is.
Well, there you go, Phil. Tell him.
No, that's your thing. Talk.
He's a great guy. I mean, I don't know. So I like
all right, if you guys want to know, so just show up and you'll find out who Mike Davis is.
Yeah, he makes mounts. Okay, for rooftop tents, among other things. He's like, he's an engineer. He's a lot of different things. To me, he's just a cool camping buddy.
Mike. I was thinking of Mike Pukaba or
Pacaroba.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Shout out to him too.
I had no idea he was talking about you. That's why you were probably like, "You do it, Phil. You do it, Phil." I'm like, what? It wasn't clicking, bro. Mike Davis is a friend of mine. I've known Michael Davis longer than Mike. I'm embarrassed right now.
It's okay. So it's funny.
And so what class?
He's on. I'm just scanning through. I just happen to be looking at my schedule. He's on my regional question and answer about Baja. So for those of you that are interested in learning about Baja, come listen to Mike and I talk.
So I want everybody to know how foolish and stupid I sound. Michael Davis is one of the sponsors of the show. Mike is somebody that we hang out with at all the events. And I didn't know who he was.
I know. So in fairness, Phil's trying to cover this up like it's his weakness here. What it really is both of our weaknesses, because we're able to sit here and talk about that we're 25 years into the 21st century because we're old as shit and we can't remember what we're talking about half the time. That's the reason. Right?
So if people are wondering, like, how those two are like yin and yang, how did they get together? Well, like when we go places, I remind Mike who people are in their names.
That's right.
Mike reminds me who people are in their names.
Yeah. And occasionally, we're not gonna lie, occasionally somebody walks up to us or walks by and be like, "Hey, Mike and Phil," and both of us look at each other and we're like, "Oh man, who the hell is that?" I go, "I don't know either."
And it'll be somebody that we've done something memorable with.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, that's what happens. So moral of the story is don't get old.
Right.
Getting old is bad.
And if we don't remember your name, do not think anything of it. It's just you don't remember nothing.
Nope. Yeah, we could have had a great time about a week ago, and I've already forgotten. But so no, so it's acceptable. But that's a funny story. Anyways, so it's going to be a good expo. I'm looking forward to all these people, and we're gonna have some. Well, we'll have some laughs about that at Expo. When does this podcast comes out? Before Expo, right? Yeah.
I think we normally do Friday, but I think we'll talk about it after the show. Friday is the normal day.
That's right.
Mike, is there anything else you want to say?
No, because if I say anything else, everybody's gonna know we don't know what we're talking about.
Hopefully we'll see you guys at Overland Expo. And again, don't be tripping. Come say hi.
That's right. Come say hi.
And we're going to do what we normally do. If you want to know what's going on and you can't show up, we'll give you an in-depth look at what's going on 24/7. We'll give you an idea of what's going on in the nightlife, what's going on in the campgrounds. We'll show you the top vendors. We'll show you all of the social media content creators that you watch on YouTube and follow on Instagram. So stay tuned for more on that.
That's right. We'll see you guys, and we'll see you next week on a podcast. Probably we're gonna have some podcasts where we're sitting in the same room because we're gonna record a few more.
Definitely. Stay tuned for that too. All right, guys, you know what I'm gonna say. Stay safe, tread lightly, and hopefully we'll see you here or on the trail soon.
You have been listening to Waypoint Overland's Random Waypoints. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.